Now I'm going to bring my pressure up. You can probably hear the OPMs increased. I'm going to make 2 more passes. That's my 5th section pass. Here's my last one. Again, I've reduced my downward pressure. I keep overlapping my passes though. There we go. Then turn that polisher off before you lift it off. Now let's wipe off the residue. Take a look at these results. And again, what I'm looking at is I'm taking the lights overhead and looking at the surface, and what I'm seeing is a crystal clear finish with excellent DOI. DOI means distinction of image. And that means when the image you're looking at that's reflecting out of the paint is completely crystal clear, just like a mirror. And that's what we have right now. So let's go ahead and we'll do the next step, and that's to go ahead and put the Wolfgang Deep Gloss Paint Sealant on. Now we're going to go ahead and switch over to the Ultra Soft Red CCS wax or finishing pad. And again, you want to put this on and get it on as accurate and as centered as you can so it's true. And then we're going to put on the Wolfgang Deep Gloss Paint Sealant 3.0. And normally when you're going ahead and putting the wax on the car, again, you could put an X pattern or a circle pattern on the face of your pad because you would be putting wax over the entire car. Now, when we do our test spot, since I'm only going to work this small section, I don't want to put a lot of wax on here, just waste the wax. So I'm just going to put a little bit of wax on here. There you go, just like that, just a little bit. Set that aside. I'm going to set the speed down here to, you can set it to the 3 or 4 setting. I'm at 3.5. And when you're putting the wax on, you don't need a high speed because, again, you're not trying to remove the swirls. We've already done that step. What you're trying to do now is spread out a coat of wax and work it into the paint to whatever level you can. And you want to make 3 to 4 passes over each square inch and really work that, in this case, a paint sealant into the paint. And you don't need to push hard, okay, because that's for removing swirls. So now I'm just going to pretty much let the weight of the machine do the work. And then I'm going to cover this section here 3 to 4 times. This is actually my 3rd pass over the whole thing. Here's my 4th pass. And again, I'm just overlapping, just like that. And then before I lift it off, I want to turn it off, then lift it off. And that way you don't throw splatter everywhere. Now, we need to let this dry before we remove it. And all waxes and paint sealants usually have their own specific instructions as to whether you wipe it right off or if you let it dry. And the instructions for the Deep Gloss Paint Sealant, it says to let it dry for 30 to 45 minutes. So what we need to do right now, though, is we need to let this dry, and then we can come back and wipe it off and inspect the results. And at that point, we'll go ahead and pull the tape off, bring the camera down, and get a really close look at the results we turned out here today. The paint sealant is dry now. It's ready to wipe off. And again, I can't stress enough the importance of using a very plush, soft microfiber. We have polished this paint to such a high gloss. We've removed every swirl and scratch, all the water spots. It has a flawless show car finish. And if I were to go down right now and start using a tatty microfiber to wipe the wax off, I could actually put scratches back in. So always keep that in mind. Whatever touches the paint, it has to be soft and gentle. So let's pull the wax off, and then we'll go ahead and check out the results. Boy, that wipes off real easy. Usually, if you follow the manufacturer's directions and you do what they say, and in most cases when you're putting on a wax or a paint sealant, they always say to put down a thin coat. You don't want to put a thick coat on it, it'll just be hard to wipe off. But if you put on a nice thin coat and then you follow the directions, you let it dry and then wipe it off, or some say to actually apply it and take it right off. But if you follow the directions, the product will perform just like they say on the label. Okay, let's go ahead and pull the tape off, and then let's check our results between the before sections and the after sections. Here's a tip. Anytime you're going to take painter's tape off paint, never pull it straight up. Always pull it back at an angle, just to be a little extra careful. Okay, now I'm going to give that a final wipe right here where the edge of the tape was. Actually, I don't want to take all that tape line off because it'll create a very clear demarcation line between the before and after that'll help the camera to highlight the difference. There we go. Okay, we're ready for the camera to come in and check our work. We finished the test spot, the results are phenomenal, and what we did here is we proved that our combination of swirl mark remover and cutting pad, followed by a finishing glaze and a polishing pad, followed by the paint sealant and a waxing pad, produced the results we were looking for, a swirl-free, flawless finish. So now all we got to do is take and duplicate that same process over the rest of the car. And I can't stress enough the importance of starting out by just doing a test spot on whatever you're working on. Because if you don't, and say you choose some parts that aren't working, but you go over the whole car, you won't find out till you're all the way done. And then you got to do the whole car over again. So prove your system to a small section first, and then duplicate that over the rest of the car. And just so you know, normally I would take a car, and what I do is I kind of look at it and I break it up into sections. In a hood like this, I would break it up into 6 sections, just like this, only 3 across the back and 3 across the front. And then when I did my test spot, I would have started in one of those sections and worked there. I normally wouldn't do it right smack dab in the middle of the hood, but that was the most effective way to make this video so we could capture the before and after results so you could see the difference. So remember, dial in your system to one spot. Once you prove the system, that'll give you the confidence to do the rest of the car. For more information on the Porter Cable 7424 XP Dual Action Polisher, visit Autogeek.net. And when you get there, either type in Porter Cable to the search box, or on the left-hand side is a navigation pane. Look for the text link that says Car Polishers, Buffers and Pads, and click on that. And that'll load a page that shows the Porter Cable and all kinds of buffing pads and accessories. If you have any questions at all, call our tech line at 1-800-869-3011. And if you've got any questions, be sure to visit our friendly and active discussion forum, and you'll find that at autogeekonline.net, and that's where you'll find me answering questions and posting reviews about tools like this. My name is Mike Phillips, and I'll see you on the next edition of Autogeek's Show Car Garage. Now that the video's over, I've got to finish the rest of the car.